In this session, we'll be taking a look at pretty good privacy and email security protocol. So what is pretty good privacy? It is a data encryption program that was used for signing, encrypting and decrypting texts, emails and files. So it was developed by Phil Zimmermann in 1991 and it has become the gold standard for email security. So what is the use of pretty good privacy is we'll be using this crypto system for encrypting emails and decrypting email messages. So we use a combination of both symmetric and asymmetric key encryption here. So the prerequisite for this lecture is you should have an understanding of RSA, encryption and decryption. You should have an understanding of what hashing algorithms are used for, and you should also have an understanding of what is the difference between symmetric key encryption and asymmetric key encryption, because we'll be using all these concepts for securing email communication using this protocol. Let us take a visualization on pretty good privacy. Let us understand this entire process using an visualization. Let's go towards it. So we have a sender who is responsible for drafting and sending the email, and we'll have a receiver who will receive the email. So here the sender is responsible for creating his own public key and private key, and he can use an algorithm like RSA for this purpose. And the receiver is also responsible for creating his own public keys and private keys, and both the sender and receiver should validate each other's public key and private key. So it is the responsibility of these senders and receivers here. Once when the sender and receivers have generated their public key and private key, and they verified their public keys and private keys, what is the next step is the sender is going to send an email to the receiver. So the email message in plain text is taken by the sender, and it is given to an hashing algorithm like SHA-256, and we create this message digest after passing the plain text email message to this hashing algorithm. And the next step is we take this message digest and we are going to perform encryption of the message digest using the sender's private key. So here again it is RSA encryption. So we are having the private key of the sender denoted as SPR. So this private key is used for encrypting, or we can say signing, the message digest. So we create a digital signature by this process. And the next thing is we take this email message, the plain text email message, we combine it with the digital signature, and then we are going to pass it to a compression algorithm which will compress it and create a compressed bundle. So the compressed bundle actually contains the plain text message alongside the digital signature, and this compressed bundle is then given to an symmetric key encryption technique like AES. So when you talk about advanced encryption standard, it uses a key. So the key K is given as input, and this compressed bundle is encrypted, and we say the cipher we are getting is C. The next step in this process is we take the key, and what we do to the key is we take the receiver's public key. So public key is open to all. So receiver's public key we're going to take and encrypt it. So this is again RSA encryption, asymmetric key encryption. We get S. So we take the key, we encrypt it using the receiver's public key, and what we do is we send the compressed bundle's cipher. So here we got C, right? That is the encrypted version of the compressed bundle and the encrypted version of the key. So C and S, encrypted version of the compressed bundle and then encrypted version of the key is sent to the receiver. So this is what is happening from the sender's side. Now let us go to the receiver side. Let's see what is happening. So what is that the receiver is going to get? The compressed bundle which is encrypted, and then the key which is encrypted. So now let's take a look at what the receiver does. So again, receiver and sender, their keys are established. So the receiver is going to get the compressed encrypted bundle and then the key which was encrypted. So first thing what it does is the key is taken, and this key was actually encrypted using the receiver's public key. So what can be done is it can be decrypted using the receiver's private key. So it is asymmetric key encryption. So what we perform here is we decrypt the key using the receiver's private key. See how it was encrypted? It was encrypted using the receiver's public key. So it can very well be decrypted using the receiver's private key. So we get the session key out here. So this is the key that we used for symmetric key encryption while we are sending the email. So the next step is the encrypted compressed bundle is taken, and then now this can be decrypted using this key, and the algorithm used here is AES. So we have decrypted the key and we are using it to decrypt the compressed bundle so that we get the compressed bundle as the output of the decryption in AES. The next thing we do is we decompress this bundle. So when you decompress this bundle, you get two things: the plain email message and then the digital signature. So now we have to verify the digital signature. So what we do here is we take the plain text and then we pass it to an hashing algorithm like SHA-256 to create the message digest. So this is the message digest we are generating out of this plain email text. And we also take the digital signature. See, the digital signature is actually the message digest that was signed using the sender's private key. So what is that we do here is we take the digital signature and we can decrypt it using the sender's public key. See, the sender's public key is known to the receiver, so he can very well use the public key to decrypt or to verify the digital signature here. So here the decryption leads to a message digest, because this digital signature is nothing but an encrypted version of the MD using the sender's private key. Here when we decrypt it, we get the message digest back. So this is the message digest we have received. This is the message digest we have generated, and we compare that. When the generated message digest equals the received message digest, we are very sure of the mail being authentic and we have received it from the sender. So this is how pretty good privacy protocol or the crypto system works. It uses a combination of asymmetric key encryption and decryption, and it also uses symmetric key encryption and decryption along with hashing algorithms like SHA-256. I hope you're able to follow this entire process. And what are the use cases of PGP? See here, the entire maintenance of keys and verification of public keys and private keys rests with the user. So it's a very personal thing. So journalists and whistleblowers actually use it to communicate with anonymous sources to ensure that even if the email is server is breached, the content remains unreadable. And security researchers are required to provide their files that are encrypted via PGP mail. And system administrators also sign software packages to prove that the code hasn't been tampered with by a third party. And certain mail services like Proton Mail uses PGP under the hood to manage end-to-end encryption between its users. And many organizations also use internally for encrypting and managing the files using PGP for sensitive data. And why PGP is not used by everyone is, I told you, the keys, public keys, private keys, everything, verification of the keys, and acceptance of the keys among senders and receivers is a complicated task. It's not for everyone. So that is one of the reasons. And PGP hides the content of your message. It doesn't hide the metadata. So anyone can know who you are emailing and when. So that is another thing. So modern messaging apps like Signal often offer similar encryption while being much easier to use. So we have more modern messaging apps which offers you similar encryption options that are more easy to use. So that's why PGP is not a cup of cake for everyone. So with that, we are coming to an end of this small introduction to what is pretty good privacy and how it is used for encrypting and securing emails. I hope you're able to follow this, and in the next session, we'll be taking a look at yes, my secure multi-purpose internet mail extensions. We'll take a look at how digital certificates are used to carry out the same process. So that's it for now. If you have any questions, you can leave those questions in the comment section below. I'll be taking a look at it and answering your questions. I'll be catching up with another session. Take care.